Welcome to day 31. We made it. We made it past day 30, bro. That's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy, man. The fact that you are not lazy, the fact that you want to learn. Some people don't even want to learn. They just want to have signals for them. They just want to be spoon-fed. They don't want to learn how to fish. They want to just eat the fish and be full. But the fact that you're here, oof, this is a skill that can bring you many, many fish. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I respect you guys for trying to learn. Dude, by the end of this year, I have something special just for you guys who are staying here to watch with me until the end of the year. If you guys can stick, we are almost there. We are like halfway there. 3 more weeks, bro. 3 more weeks. And some specials about to come for the new year. But anyways, let's do a recap of what happened this week. First, we already know this is a trade I took. But what about the rest? So let's do it. NAS. Oof. Who took this trade? Come on now. Who took this trade? Clean. Tap, tap, tap. Clean. Pullback down here. Why did I not take this trade? Ivan, why did you not take this trade? Again, this is all personal risk tolerance. For me, I just didn't like it because the 4-hour turned bearish, right? But for you guys may go to the lower time frame and you guys might like how this is turned out. See, it went bearish and then it went bullish again. So you guys could have entered here Monday during New York session. Yeah, right here. See? Whew, perfect entry right here. Little perfect 1 to 2. Again, this is depending on your risk tolerance. I personally entered during NZDJPY because I'm not really a big fan of NAS. And 2, if you guys know me, I like to use the wicks. Since the previous Friday low was tapped, I don't like the probability of how the high was not going to be touched anyway. So that's why I wanted to wait till Tuesday to roll around, which is why I didn't take the trade. But for those of you guys who have different risk tolerance depending on you, you could have taken this trade. And look where it ended up happening. Boom, boom, boom. You know, the wicks, the tops and the lows aren't always going to be respected, you know. This is one of those type of scenarios where it will hit the bottom and the top. And that's just how it is. But what happened the next day? It hit the top. What happened the next day? It hit the top. What happened the next day? It hit the top. What happened the next day? It hit the top. See my point? But here, that's why. My risk is pretty low, but this was a pretty good trade. I would say this is a pretty high probability setup. The area of interest looks really clean. These are clean candlestick closure. You know? One disrespect, which is like right here. But not really. This is not even one disrespect. I personally, when I count this out, one disrespect, if you have, you know, a lower risk tolerance, you could have counted this as like it has not been respected. But low-key, it has like wicks here to respect it to go down. All right. And then when it went up here, it respected the area zone and went up to the upside. Ooh, this was good. And again, TP at the previous structure right here. And depending on how you wanted to hold it, depending on the wick, you could continue to hold it to maximize your profits. Type a W in the chat if you took this trade. Clean ass trade. And even if you missed it Monday, you could have taken it Tuesday as well. Because what do we know? The probabilities. So you could have waited for that pullback to enter during the London session, which is perfect. But you know me, I'm sleeping during London session. So yeah. But we are all different, and we have different time zones, and we have different pros and cons. We have different things that we're good at. You guys might be good at London session better than me. That's fine. This is how it is. As long as we all make money here, that's all that matters. Next, EuroCAD. This one, we already looked at it and we were like, okay, it was bearish, right? But what happened? Let me see, I forgot. I was looking at this area of interest right here. So as soon as it disrespected the area of interest, I was not interested because there's no area of interest to refer back to, right? But again, what happened during Friday, NFP? It went straight down here, but oof. If you guys are eyeballing this trade and looking close at this area of interest, like yes, it was disrespected, and then it went down here, and boom. This trade was it's gonna be so hard to catch because look at how fast this shit moved, and it's not that you can't catch it, but personally, I was not interested after it went above the area of interest. But some of you guys maybe have this in the list and like how it looks. See, left head, right shoulder, right? You could have answered here, but do you really want to enter here where the risk to reward is not a 1 to 2? Again, it doesn't matter as long as you make money. If a 1-to-1 suits you, then a 1-to-1 will suit you. It don't matter. As long as you make money, you make money. That's just it. If 1-to-1 works for you, then it works for you. Maybe you have a higher win rate with a 1-to-1, right? And psychologically, maybe by you winning today, it helps you think and have a little bit more confidence. Not overly confident, but just confident enough to take trades that'll make you more money. And that's how it is. A 1-to-1, typically to be profitable, to be able to make money in the market with a 1-to-1 ratio is 51%. That's it. As long as you have an edge, then you're fine. A win rate for a 1-to-2 is just 30%, 33%, right? If you can reach above there, you lose more than you win, but your winners will cover your losses. Some people like that. Some people like having more winners to engulf their losers. So then they're like, oh, okay, it's okay to lose. But some people like the winning streak, like, oh, yes, I like to win. I like to win. I don't like to lose. Fuck, I lost. Like, I don't understand, but you get my point. You guys have different, we all are different. So there's really no one to judge here. Next, we got AUD USD. This one, I was just not interested. This was bullish, but look, the weekly was like head, left head, right shoulder to the downside, right? And it was bearish, and then boom, it went bullish, right? So we were interested in looking for buys, but there's not really area of interest for it to retest, to go to the upside. It just continued to go straight. So we were not interested. Next, this one, I was waiting for the retest, the push retest to go to the upside. This might be ready for next week or tomorrow. We will see. But at the moment, did not take this trade. But again, it really depends on your risk tolerance. Maybe you liked how this engulfed right here. There's a shift of structure here, engulfing right here. You could have taken the trade this week, like right here, place your stop loss right here. And honestly, you're good to go. You could have held it for throughout the whole week and maybe next week. And where's going to be your TP? Again, this is the weekly area of interest. And whenever it's above this weekly area of interest, it skyrockets. It skyrockets. So you can honestly place your TP right here. A perfect 1-to-3 ratio. If you guys enter this trade, you guys have really big balls. You guys are probably really patient. The fact that you can think of entering this trade after the shift of structure engulfing of the daily, bro. Not even the shorter time frame entry signal. You guys are using the daily as an entry signal. This is like a whole different level of patience-ness. I mean, look, there's a inverted left head, right shoulder retest. So it's perfect. Again, if you guys don't know how to look for head and shoulders pattern, go watch my head and shoulders YouTube. If not, let me show you guys right here because some of you guys are lazy. Right here, head and shoulders pattern, right? Remember about the grass? We need the hill, we need the grass, right? What the fuck? Man, my freaking laptop now sucks. All right, this is the left, right? This is the head, right? Look at this. You see this line? You see this? Cancel. This is a perfect left head, right shoulder because this is the grass. This is the mountains. If you guys know, you guys know. This is the mountain. This is the grass, the base. And see, there's the head and shoulders pattern. So this is this is a clean head and shoulders pattern, honestly. So I respect for those of you guys who took this trade. Honestly, I would have taken this trade. It just looks so clean. But Ivan, why didn't you take this trade? Why? Well, because I was already in NZD-JPY. I was already so invested in, and knowing me, bro, I can't risk any more money, bro. First of all, I already full ported this shit, risking $1,000. So I'm already capped. I capped my risk already. If I risk even more, psychologically, I don't think I'm prepared for that. So yeah. But this is a good trade for those of you who took this trade, W. And next we got SPY. So SPY, we were just looking for the retest to go to the upside, which never happened, so we never took the trade. Which is why this is last, because first of all, the readiness. NAS 100 was ready, but SP 500 was not ready. We had to wait for that pullback to go to the upside, so it was not ready yet, which is why we put this at like what, the 6th, 7th on the list, but that's the reason why. And here's a little bonus video for you guys, for those of you guys who follow Alex G. What do we know? What do we know? We know that he was like, these two was in his top list on his Instagram, right? What do we know here? For USD CAD, this is the trade he took. Let me pull up the screenshot right here. Right? These were the trades that he took. This is his execution. I copied that, right? Of course, I did not take this trade, but let's break it down. Let's break down why he took this trade, and let's talk about his risk tolerance. Because first of all, what do we know? The daily is freaking bullish. So why you take a sell when the daily is bullish, right? 2, the weekly was bearish, right? So we got the weekly bearish, daily bullish, right? What about the 4 hour? The 4 hour was what? Was bearish. So 4 hours bearish, daily's bullish, and weekly is bearish. We have no time frames in sync. Already, you guys are probably confused and be like, what the fuck? Wait, what? I thought Alex needs to have 2 time frames in sync to take the trade. Which is why he only made, what, $100,000, $139,000 in this trade. You might think this is a lot of money. Whoa, there's a lot of money. But think about how much he risked, right? Based on his $3 million, right? He only risked, I don't know the math, but around 20, 30,000, right? From the mill, from the 3 mil, which is what, do the math here, Ivan. Damn. Hold up, give me some time. 3 million, 30,000, which is what? Which is like 1%. Yeah, 1%. Bro, Ivan, why did it take you so long to do that shit? Do that fucking mental math. Yeah, which is 1%. So he risked 1% of his capital for this. So now, do you really think he's a risky trader? No. It's his appetite. This is his risk tolerance. This is why I was also one of a victim. I was blinded by the numbers, and sometimes I still am. I'm still fascinated by how much money he can make in a day, but that's just how it is. But if you think of it from percentage-wise, it's only 1%. And this is his risk tolerance. If he makes money, he makes money. At the end of the day, if you make money, you make money, right? There's so many ways to talk about this trade. First of all, this could have been like a, what, double top, to go to the downside, retest the double top of the neckline to go to the downside, but we know he doesn't use that. And second of all, you can't really use the daily as a way to enter because the daily is bullish, so you can't use it as a way to look for sells when it's bullish, right? So what I think is the 4 hour. This is what he looked at. 4 hour zone, boom, 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 boom. He did a little intraday trade, which is in and out quick in like less than a day. And then he took advantage of the NFP because it is the first week of Friday, non-farm payroll. So what he did was he knew that the non-farm payroll would have been at 8:39, right? So then around London session, there's that engulfing right here. He probably saw the pullback during London session, or he took the trade during the engulfing right here during 9 a.m., right? Which both would have been fine because, again, to everyone, this is high risk trade. There's no 2 time frames in sync. He's using 4 hour area of interest. But again, what does Alex really like? He really likes head and shoulders pattern. And what do we have here? Head and shoulders pattern. Let me show you. Look at this. Right? He was betting that it's going to create that left head, right shoulder. Enter this trade, put the stop loss above the right shoulder, and boom, he made money. And even if he did not, oh shit, what the fuck? What the fuck did I do? Even if he did not make money, he would still lose like what? 1% of his income, his trading account, which is fine. Which is why, everyone has different risk tolerance, and you can't compare your risk based on someone else's risk tolerance. And which is why Even though I took this trade, you probably would not like this trade because your risk tolerance says otherwise. So what did we learn today? We learned to not compare. We learned that everyone is different. And we learned that we just have to adapt to what works for our personality, right? But of course, psychology comes later. Strategy and fundamentals and technicals and everything else, learning the basics comes first. Because here's what has been mistakenly wrong. If you don't know how to trade and you think psychology is the thing that you have to learn, that's not true. You have to learn how to trade first, and then psychology comes later. I was a victim at this, right? In the beginning, I thought it was psychology, but then it's because I didn't really know how to trade. But then again, I jumped back to psychology, and then I was like, oh, maybe I don't know how to trade, until I did what? Journaling. Why? Because journaling helps me keep track of my growth, helps me keep track of what I was doing, my execution, what did I learn, my systems, and last but not least, my thought process. Like, in order to see that, and then from there, you look at last quarters and compare yourself, you know what your problem is. And then from there, you tackle from there. Again, everyone is different. Don't forget to journal. That's like the most important thing. Think about it. I'm not trying to sell you anything about, doing journal or buying someone's journal. I'm just telling you, this industry, this trading journey that you're about to enter is so fucking crazy that if you don't track your growth, you will never know if you're growing or not, because it fluctuates. You can't measure based on how much money you make. You get blinded by how much money you make that you forget that that's not how you track your growth. What really helps you track your growth is your what? Your risk management, the way you followed your trading plan, the way you did not let other people influence you. It's just so many factors, which is why journaling really helps, right? You can even journal about, Alex G took this trade, but I didn't take this trade because I was uncomfortable with risking my hard-earned money for this trade. That could have been in your journal. And 3 months from now, when you look back, and you're going to be like, wow, I really matured. I didn't copy his trade just because I had that FOMO, You will really start to see yourself growing as a trader. And the fact that you're even watching this, I know you guys really are not lazy. You guys want to learn. You guys want to not be lazy and start making that fucking money by yourself. Not from signals, because you're not here to rely on anyone. You're here to do this on your own. Right? I was there, because all these freaking signals are what? They make you money, and then they don't. And then they make you money, and then they don't. What if one day they just stop doing signals? Then you don't know how to make money. What the fuck, man? Right? So yeah. Man, I'm glad you guys are watching this, man. Shit. This shit deep, bro. Late night thinking about this shit. It's crazy how far I've come. And I bet you guys, looking back 3 months from now, the fact that you're watching this right now, we're at day 31? You look back a month compared to right now. You've grown, bro. You've grown. I know you've grown. Come on. I know you've grown. Oof. It's just so sad that it's coming to an end. I've basically almost taught everything that I know to make your first 100 or 1,000 or however much money you guys think to get your first funded account. The sauce is all here. The sauce is all here. Man, can't wait to see you guys. Can't wait to see you guys make money. Can't wait to see you guys make money, man. All right, bounce.